I'd like to thank everybody for coming out. Had a good week this week, going 2-0. Hard-fought game at home against SIMO. We're really playing well offensively right now, averaging 90 points a game over the last 3 games. Keyshawn James this past week was named the College Sports Madness National Player of the Week, Mid-Major National Player of the Week, averaging 27 points, 8.5 rebounds, 4.5 assists, and a couple of steals a game. She's starting to figure out exactly what you can and can't get away with at the Division I level. We've got some good play off the bench. A.G. Smith has come around, really starting to understand what we're trying to accomplish, which gives us a chance to get a true point guard in the game and gives Olivia Cunningham and Leasia Wright the opportunity to come out of the game and be able to watch and when they make mistakes and when they start to run out of energy. AG's given us great energy these past 3 games. So proud of the way she's continued to fight and continue to stay focused in spite of not playing a lot, and it's paying off for her. And I can say the same thing for our whole team. Have played with a lot of energy, with the exception of the trip up to SIUE, who we have coming in on Thursday night. We've really played hard the entire conference season, so got a lot of work left to do. Got a SIUE team coming in that's the second best team in the conference. That's really the only team that they blew us out the first time we played them. That's the only game we haven't led in the second half, with the exception of the Martin game. So we're looking forward to the challenge of playing them, and excited about the direction our team's moving. Oh, microphone. Nice.
Are there any more changes other than just the small stuff that you think the team needs to do for SIUE? Like you said,
well, we're just focused on getting better today. As far as things that we have to do to prepare to play for them, we really we started off the game, I think we were 0 for 9 to start the game from the field, and we hung our heads with every missed shot. Instead of rotating back on defense, they wore us out in transition. We had nobody rotating back at all. That's the first thing. Second thing, they out-toughed us. And I think a lot of that was our energy level was very low. We had lost some close games, and that was the one time that I really saw our energy level drop, was on that trip. And SIUE has a lot to do with that. They're the most physical, most aggressive team in the conference, and they really took it to us. So our mentality has to be different, without question.
Have you just let them go? I mean, with the points you guys have been scoring, it just seems like you've changed your style. It seemed like it happened.
No, if you go back, I understand I can seem like that, because we're shooting the last 3 games. We shot 46% from the field, 38% from the three-point line. We've gotten to the free throw line over 30 times each game. We're averaging, I think, 31 free throw attempts over the last 3 games. So it can seem like that. And somebody asked me the other day, we won that close game where SEMO really battled and had a chance, cut it to 1 several times, and we were able to push it out. Same thing happened at Austin Peay. And somebody asked me, well, what are you telling them differently? It's the same message. The difference is players are figuring it out and players are making plays. Basketball is a player's game. You put them in position, they make the play or they don't make the play, and you live with the results. I'm somebody who, over the course of my career, I'm extremely loyal to my players, especially people that earn the right in practice to play. I stick with them a lot longer than some other coaches would. I've stuck with Kiana Kirby this entire year, and now, we moved her to the bench to give her a different perspective. Probably should have done that a few games sooner, but a real big difference is she's playing with confidence. She's able to see where her spots are. Made a couple of huge shots in each of the last 2 games, late in the game, big threes. I'm one, James, that constantly, hey, you gotta let it fly and finish high and play with confidence on the offensive end. And I think that's one of the reasons over the years, the last 4 years or so, that UT Martin's been so good offensively. We're the one team in the league that consistently competes with them, because we play with them offensively and we can match their runs at times. Weren't able to do that a couple of games ago, but we were right there. We hung with them because of that. I think some of it is, I really kind of think we hit bottom from an energy and effort standpoint at SIUE, and our players recognize that. And, just watching film, they're not going to let it happen again. And they've kind of relaxed and just said, you know what, we've got nothing to lose, let's just play. and that's the way the mindset should be, and that's what we preach all the time. Just go out and play the game. And I think we're seeing more of that, and we're seeing A.G. Smith's ability to come in and play for us, which really started with the Martin game. We've seen it for a couple of weeks where she's starting to understand things and she knows what we're trying to accomplish in practice, and now we're seeing that on the court. She's a true point guard and really the only one on our roster, because Olivia Cunningham, she's a scorer and she sets people up and leads us in assists, but she's really more of a scoring guard. Leasia Wright really wants to be on the wing more than playing the point. So that's helped us a lot. That's helped the flow offensively. And I think it comes down to, at the bottom line is, it's a make or miss game, and we're making shots right now and we're taking quality shots. We are not jacking up a quick three contested early in the shot clock. If it's open, we take it. If it's not, we're reversing the basketball better and taking threes, off ball reversal and inside out play.
If you were to win out or maybe go 4-1, you still have a chance to make the conference tournament. And I understand that may seem like a difficult chore, but you've been in so many games this year, and all the teams in the league are so close.
Yeah. Well, every game is winnable for us. We could win out. We could lose out. We're just focused on today and getting better in practice. I'm not going to sit here and try to give you the coach line, well, I haven't looked at it. I've looked at it. I've looked at the schedules. There's no question there's a path. You could devise a path that gets us to the 7 or 8 seed, and it's not that far beyond the realm of possibility. And you don't have to have George Lucas's imagination to see that. But if we don't get better today, and if we don't get better tomorrow, and if we don't get better against SIUE, then it really doesn't matter. So we're not talking about that with the team at all. We're just focused on being the best we can be today, and then tomorrow, and let Thursday night take care of itself, and so on. We could lose a couple of these games, and you could see a path where realistically you could still get the 8 seed, but we don't control any of that. We just control what we do today.
The other night, I guess it was an Austin Peay game. You had 5 in there, and within a minute or so, you put 5 new ones in. And I said, I think as they went to the bench, you said they're not playing with energy. Did the next group do that, and did they pick it up after that?
Yes, and it's actually happened the last 3 ball games. The Martin game, we came out, we turned it over a lot quickly. They jumped up 10 on us. Was really the difference in the game. And SEMO, it happened, and then the other night it happened, and there's no explanation for it. And when the 5 came out, they understand, hey, you're right, we're going to change, and it's kind of a wake-up call. The good thing is we have, with Kiana Kirby and Natanya Jackson not in the starting lineup, we really have 2 starter quality players sitting over there to put in the game. And then the other one, Julia Fox, now that she's healthy and playing, it really gives us a good scoring lineup, actually probably a better scoring lineup going in for those people. So the energy level is my major concern, though. It always has been, but, right now in conference games, it's usually the team with the most energy and the most focus that wins. And, so we're not going to – I did the same thing in the second half at the Austin Peay game. It happened both halves. The second half, we turned it over 2 times early in the half, just subbed all 5. And, it's sometimes as a player, you may be 1 out of 5 that you're going hard, but there's a responsibility. What are you doing to make your teammates play with the energy, to lift your teammates up? And, that's just something that we've done by feel. It just so happened that it's happened the last couple of games. But, there's no question when you watch the film, the energy level jumps up. It's a marked difference. It's very obvious. And, when the other 5 went back in, and they didn't go in as a group, but when they went back in one at a time, they picked up their level of energy, and it certainly made plays for us.
You talked a little bit about Austin Peay, but can you just talk about how maybe that affected the team's attitudes getting that away win?
Well, it's first road win. They were excited. I was a little excited. Got in the locker room and sang a little bit with them, and the spirits are high right now, and we're playing pretty well. It makes you feel better And as coaches, we want to play phenomenal defense, and that's always our focus on defense and rebounding, because that's not really what the players focus on. It makes the players feel better to score the basketball. And, that Austin Peay game, as a spectator, as somebody who was, on the sideline watching the game, was a lot of fun to watch. You score 98 points and you make some defensive plays, and it was a lot of fun for the players to play in. And one thing I always preach, and maybe I preach it too much, because we don't get it all the time, is I want them playing with excitement. And I know when they play in the gym with nobody in the gym, they're talking and laughing and jumping around and having a good time. And a lot of times when you get out and you get in front of a crowd and you have referees and you got coaches calling plays, maybe we're concentrating too much on what we're supposed to do and not as excited to play basketball. And during the Austin Peay game, when plays were made, there was a lot of excitement on the bench and by the players on the court, and that's critical.
You also mentioned James and like some of the stats that she's put up at the beginning, but can you talk about what makes her a special player?
Well, KJ is a tremendous energy player, and which is why it's so striking when she's not playing with a lot of energy. Give you an example, the other night at Austin Peay, first couple of possessions of the second half, she's kind of tiptoeing around. She turned it over, just kind of flipped the ball to a teammate. Tiasha Gray from Austin Peay runs through it, just like we told them she would if they did that, and goes down and scores a layup. And you take her out of the game, and she's like, I don't realize I'm doing it, Coach. I'm sorry. But she goes in, she plays with tremendous energy. Throughout the course of the year, this is her freshman year, a lot of times she plays too hard. She goes after things. She tries to go too fast. When she's such a great athlete, if she just slows down, there's the old adage, be quick but don't hurry. And that's the way she needs to play. She needs to be under control, which she has been the last week. And, she's seeing the fruits of that, and she understands that there's a difference between just going 100 miles an hour and being able to shift gears. When she becomes a player that uses all 5 gears on the gear shift instead of just 2, she's going to be a tremendous college basketball player. Right now, she's pretty good. But once she's learned now she's learned 2 gears. Okay, she used to have 1 gear. Now she's got 2. Throughout the course of this year, going into next year, we need to get her to where she's a 5-gear player and can change her pace and be under control. But she can do everything. Can shoot the 3. Great mid-range game, which she put on display at Austin Peay for the first time in a while, and can really get to the basket and could become a great defender. Right now, she's not a very good defender. She makes defensive plays sometimes, but overall, not a great defender. So that's one of the things she's focused on. And she comes to the gym every day to work, and that's the best thing about her.